The house stood on a hill, a skeletal silhouette against the bruised twilight sky. My grandmother's house, a place I hadn't set foot in since I was a child, and now it was mine. The lawyer had handed me the keys with a look of pity. "She left it all to you, Elara," he'd said. "Just be careful." His words echoed in my mind as I pushed open the heavy oak door. A gust of stale, cold air rushed out to greet me, carrying the scent of dust, decay, and something else. Something faintly sweet, like wilting flowers. My footsteps creaked on the floorboards, each sound unnervingly loud in the profound silence. Moonlight sliced through the grimy windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air like tiny, restless spirits. I wandered through the downstairs rooms, my hand trailing over furniture draped in white sheets, resembling a field of silent ghosts. Everything was just as I remembered, yet not. A layer of neglect had settled over the house, a palpable sadness that clung to the very walls. I'd always been a little afraid of my grandmother. She was a stern, quiet woman with eyes that seemed to know things you hadn't even thought yet. She rarely spoke of the family, and never of the house's history. "Some doors are best left unopened," she used to say, her voice a dry rustle of leaves. Making my way up the winding staircase, the air grew colder. The banister was slick with a strange dampness. At the top of the landing, there was a hallway lined with closed doors. I opened them one by one. Her bedroom, the guest room, a small study, all of them filled with the same shrouded furniture and suffocating stillness. Except for the last door. It was at the very end of the hall, a door I didn't remember. It was made of a dark, almost black wood, with no handle, just a small, tarnished keyhole. Curiosity, that fatal human flaw, got the better of me. The key was on the same ring the lawyer had given me. It was old and ornate, a twisted piece of iron. As I inserted it into the lock, a faint sound reached my ears, so soft I thought I'd imagine it. A whisper, like the wind sighing through a crack. It sounded like my name, Elara. I froze, my heart hammering against my ribs. It had to be the wind. Just the old house settling. With a shaky breath, I turned the key. The lock clicked open with a sound like a breaking bone. The door swung inward on silent hinges, revealing a room swallowed by darkness. A deeper, more absolute darkness than the rest of the house. I fumbled for my phone, switching on the flashlight. The beam cut a nervous path through the gloom. The room was small and bare. The walls lined with the same dark wood as the door. There was no window. The only piece of furniture was a single wooden chair in the center of the room, facing the far wall. An unsettling cold emanated from it, a cold so intense it felt like it was leaching the warmth from my skin. And then I heard it again, clearer this time. A sibilant whisper, seeming to come from the very walls around me. Elara. It was a chorus of voices, layered and ancient, slithering out of the shadows. My blood ran cold. I wanted to run, to slam the door and flee this house forever. But my feet were rooted to the spot, held fast by a paralyzing fear. My light trembled, the beam dancing across the walls. The wood wasn't smooth. It was covered in scratches, thousands upon thousands of frantic, desperate marks, as if someone had tried to claw their way out. My breath hitched in my throat. The whispering grew louder, more insistent, weaving around me like a tangible thing. "Welcome home, Elara." My gaze was drawn back to the chair. In the flickering light, I saw it. A faint distortion in the air, a patch of darkness more profound than the rest. It began to coalesce, to take form. A shadowy figure, tall and gaunt, was seated on the chair, its head slowly turning towards me. It had no face, just a void, a swirling vortex of utter blackness where features should have been. but I could feel its gaze on me. An ancient, hungry intelligence. Panic finally broke through my paralysis. I spun around, lunging for the doorway. The door, which had been wide open, slammed shut with a deafening boom that shook the entire house. I clawed at it, my fingers searching for a handle, a lock, anything. But the surface was smooth, seamless. There was no way out. The whispering stopped. The silence that followed was worse, heavier, filled with a dreadful anticipation. I slowly turned back, my phone's light shaking violently in my hand. The shadow on the chair was no longer sitting. It was standing. It was unfolding itself, rising to a height that seemed impossible in the small room, its form stretching and warping like smoke. It didn't walk towards me. It simply expanded, the darkness pouring from it like a flood of ink, consuming the floor, crawling up the walls. The light from my phone began to flicker and dim as the shadows encroached, eating the beam itself. "What do you want?" I screamed, my voice a pathetic, trembling squeak. A single voice, clear and cold, detached from the whispering chorus. It sounded like my grandmother. "We don't want anything," it said, the voice echoing from every direction at once. "The house wants. The house always wants. It wants a new caretaker. It wants a new voice in the choir." The darkness touched my feet, and the cold was absolute. It was not just a lack of heat. It was an active, consuming void that stole the feeling from my skin, my bones, my very soul. I looked down and saw the shadows clinging to my ankles, swirling up my legs like living things. I couldn't move. I couldn't even scream anymore. The sound was trapped in my throat, a choked, gurgling knot of terror. The last of my phone's light was swallowed. I was plunged into total, suffocating blackness. The shadowy presence was all around me now, pressing in from all sides. I could feel its cold breath on my face, smell the ancient dust and the sweet decay. I felt a whisper brush against my ear, no longer just a sound, but a physical touch, a cold finger tracing the shell of my ear. "Don't worry, Elara," my grandmother's voice crooned, right beside me in the dark. "You won't be alone. We are all here, and we will be forever." My own voice, small and terrified, was ripped from my throat as I started to scream. But another sound joined it, a low, raspy whisper, escaping my lips without my control. A name. The name of the next person to inherit the house. The house always wants. And now, I was part of the choir that would call them home.